Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E Rally. Below me are two electric motors powering this all-electric sporty SUV. Now, I am super excited to be driving it because the Rally is new, and it is a very exciting version of the Mustang Mach-E. I haven't driven the Mach-E in a while. The other reason I'm excited is because we are out here at Autobahn Country Club in Joliet, Illinois, and we have this vehicle on the track, so we can actually do some track laps here in the Mustang Mach-E. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zachpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to Autobahn Country Club for having me out here to film a couple of their vehicles here today and enjoy their track facilities. But let's get back to that all-electric drivetrain and what makes the Rally special. Well, it makes 480 horsepower and 700 pound-feet of torque, which is similar to the GT. However, this gets different suspension by raising it an inch. It has aluminum underbody shielding, and it has 19-inch wheels with Michelin Cross Climate 2 all-season performance tires on the vehicle, as well as Brembo front brakes. So it does get that nice performance upgrade that you would expect out of a GT, but also some off-road goodies for the Rally-ness. So how does it feel to drive? Well, let's put it out on the track and see how it does. Put it into a corner here, out on the track. It seems pretty well balanced. I will say, it's not as fast in a straight line as I really thought. I was expecting like a gut punch, and when you do it from a stop, it does. It gives you that gut punch and you go, whoa, you know? But once you're already at speed out on a racetrack, it doesn't give you that feeling. At least not the feeling that a gas engine does when you downshift and nail a corner and, you know, you get this satisfaction. This kind of feels like a big racing simulator, and I put my foot down, it goes faster. I let off, it goes slower. But I don't know, just maybe that's just EVs on track. You know, this is my first time driving an EV product on the track. It definitely has the power to pull out of turns. That is something really nice. The all-wheel drive system is wonderful, and the dual motor setup is just so planted through corners. You could really take some speed, but then you start feeling the weight of this thing. Those batteries are not feathers, and so it's this really odd mix. You're really seeing on screen my first EV track experience unfolding, but honestly, at least in this environment, I expected a little bit more. Now, a big benefit of the Mach-E Rally is the fact that it is good off-road, and unfortunately, I can't test it off-road, but I have a feeling that it would do a lot better because that's what it's set up for. Maybe the GT's a little bit better for the track, but I don't know, it seems pretty tame. I'll punch it here. See, it puts you back 50, 60, 70, 76. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a very slim, very small gauge cluster. I really like it. I think it's clean and easy to read, simple layout. However, it does slightly remind me of the Fisker Ocean, which I can't say is a good parallel to draw. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our adaptive cruise control, and off to the right, we have our skip track, volume, and voice commands. Off to the left, we do get a climate control vent, as well as our headlight switches and gauge dimmer switch, as well as traction control off. And moving on to the door, we have 3 levels of memory seats, lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows, as well as our latch to get in and out is this very odd, dinky little latch that I'm just not a huge fan of. Moving into the center, we get our giant vertical infotainment display. Now, when this vehicle debuted in 2019, this was huge. This was a brand new thing. Now, almost every single car has it, and I like it for the most part. I think it's easy to use. I think it operates a lot like a phone, so you're gonna be able to know how to use it pretty quickly. The things that I don't like is that A, the climate controls are all ran through the screen, which can be kind of annoying, and in my time with the Mustang GT, it could sometimes be laggy, which on a hot day you do not want, or a very cold day. And also, this vehicle has a special rally drive mode that allows a little bit more slippage, a little bit more drifting to happen. However, finding the drive mode is very, very hard to do and should be a physical switch. You do get a really nice 360 camera that is very clear as well. It gives you this nice top-down view and has made parking this vehicle an absolute breeze. Down below that, we do get a USB-A as well as USB-C, some wireless chargers, and cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test. However, sadly, it fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get our parking assist, hazard switch, power parking brake, and gear shifter all in the center. This overall interior is pretty minimalist. We do have B&O speakers laid out throughout the interior, which does feel nice, and it has a couple premium materials in here. But other than that, it is rather sparse. We do get a center console that slides open like a garage door, 12-volt outlet in there, and then we'll talk about the seats. The seats do have higher bolsters than the traditional Mach-E. They have Rally embossed in them, so I really like that look, and they've been comfortable. Even though I am a bigger guy, they have been pretty nice out on track. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E Rally, and a couple of things to note. First of all, with these bigger, bulkier front seats, these sportier front seats, you actually do lose a little bit of rear leg room. Now, I could be nicer and move up. It's not the end of the world, but it's just not the most comfortable space I've ever been in. We get power windows. We get 2 climate vents back here, as well as USB-A and USB-C. So nice to see that. And we do get fold-out cup holders in the center. It works as an SUV back seat. I'm more comfortable in the Ioniq 5N, and when I briefly drove the Ioniq 5 XRT, so I would probably lean more towards that, at least in this regard, and honestly, I like how the Ioniq 5 drives better, so it's just not a total win for the Mustang Mach-E Rally back here, especially due to these bigger seats. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, we are out at a racetrack, so I apologize for the noise. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Once we are back here, we do have a button down below for the power-operated tailgate. Now, it is nice and smooth. It's a decent amount of space, I do have to say. Back here, we do have a decent amount of trunk room. Overall, pretty nice to see. We do get little lights that have the little Mustang prancing horse on them. We do have a 12-volt outlet, which is nice. This is a very good space. This is where, you know, this kind of feels more like a fun hot hatch than a big SUV, because you have that practicality, you do have the fun driving feel. You know, that's definitely helped out with the hatch space back here. Now we do have the same button right here. Touch it once and it will power right back down. Nice, clean, easy, and simple, but we gotta talk about the looks because I think it looks killer. Something that should be noted is the fact that once you pop it from inside, you do get a frunk up at the front of the Mustang Mach-E. Now this is tremendously more helpful and way more spacious than the Ioniq 5N. The Ioniq 5N has an excuse for a frunk. You could maybe fit a piece of loose leaf paper. This, you could fit like 4 rotisserie chickens in here, and that is a very good measurement of a frunk. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I adore the way that the Mach-E Rally looks. I love the wheels. However, these are actually painted black on this particular Mustang Mach-E. I prefer the white ones. I just love that look so much better. But I do think the added fins, the fog lights, I think overall this thing just looks absolutely killer. And I was excited to get behind the wheel of it, mainly based off of looks. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Ford Mustang Mach-E Rally for the first time in a while that I've been in a Mustang Mach-E? Well, at the time when I originally reviewed this vehicle, it's one of my favorite EVs on the market. Now, to be fair, the Ioniqs hadn't come out. There was very few EVs you could even buy. So calling it my favorite didn't have a whole lot of weight at the time. But now being back behind the wheel, there's 2 things that really stick out. First of all is Ford's commitment to this vehicle. They're still making it, and it seems like they have plans for a second generation. They like it enough, and one can only hope that maybe they'll drop the Mustang name and just call it the Mach-E, because A, that's what everyone already calls it, and B, get rid of that Mustang fakeness or whatever. The second thing is that Ford is having fun. Right now, Ford Motor Company is having a lot of fun. The Raptor series with the Bronco Raptor, Ranger Raptor, and F-150 Raptor are wonderful. The Mustang Dark Horse livens up a chassis that didn't really even need livening up, but you get it. Now the Mach-E Rally offers something special and more fun to the Mustang Mach-E. Ford is having fun, and it's showing through, and I think that they're having more fun than a lot of their American competitors. So even though I don't love this thing out on the track, it's still a fun trim level. Ford is having fun. They offer something unique and different. And for that one gravel road by your house, yeah, this thing is gonna be an absolute blast. But put it through a corner here, all right. It'll handle itself, but this isn't some king of the road. All right, I'll give you one more corner, Mustang Mach-E, to really give me something. Again, just kind of feels like I'm playing Forza. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Autobahn Country Club for letting me borrow their Mustang Mach-E Rally for today's video and taking it out on Autobahn's RACETRACK to actually put this thing through its paces. They're absolutely wonderful. Their information is down in the description below. This is the premier spot in Illinois for a motorsports club. End all be all, no discussion. They are wonderful. They do tons of events around the year. If you want to learn how to drive on the racetrack, they have plenty of classes and groups for that, which is very, very cool as well. So huge thank you to Autobahn Country Club for making this video possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.